It is another edition of the On the Mic podcast, and breaking away from Bellator 291 to look a few months ahead. And I might catch some heat for this. I don't really care. The Philadelphia Eagles could not win a championship, but my next guest is on the path. Sorry, DeAnna Bennett, you're the only thing I like about Philadelphia these days. Sean Brady too, because I don't want to get my ass kicked. And your entire team. Okay, so the fighters in Philly are the only things I like about Philly. After that, I don't like any of the sports teams. But she's the one and only DeAnna Bennett, and we are going to be talking about something, DeAnna, that you and I have been talking about for 6-8 months now. I mean, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while, and I'm just going to throw it out there, may get a little emotional. I got some honest questions I feel I could ask you because I do consider you a friend. But first and foremost, how are you?
I'm great. December was a little sketchy for me. I wasn't sure what was happening, what was going on. And, I'm tired, don't get me wrong, because I got big things coming up. So been really working my butt off for them. But, and if you can't tell, I just got done for the gym. But I can't complain. I get to do what I love every single day, and I get to, go after my dreams and goals and all that kind of fun stuff. So how could it be bad?
You were called last time we spoke, which feels like an eternity ago. You were saying the only thing you wanted for Christmas was a fight. And then Liz Carmouche fought at Bellator 289 in the beginning of December and called for a 135-pound division, called everybody else out but you. So when you get the call, kind of take me behind the scenes. What was that moment like getting the call?
Honestly, it was like the weirdest day in the world. It was like a random Tuesday. I had just gotten back from practice. After everything and after waiting for so long, and like I was at her last fight that was at the Mohegan Sun, listening to her call out a whole bunch of other people that weren't me. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I felt like it wasn't gonna happen. I'm like, I'm sitting there waiting, and I'm like, are they actually gonna give me this fight or are they not? I don't know. Well, my manager was in Brazil for the UFC card, and I get a FaceTime call, and I was like, okay, first off, I don't do FaceTimes because I don't know if you see what's going on right here with all of that, like. People,
it's all good.
I don't FaceTime because I don't want to see myself, let alone have somebody else like see this all up close. Like I get really close like this. So I'm gonna back up right there.
I see a champion. I see a future world champion. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I try. I didn't even brush my hair today, so that tells you how I'm doing. But yeah, he FaceTimes me, and I was like, okay, I feel like we have good news because I'm getting this FaceTime. And he's just like, so we got a fight announcement. And I was like, okay, either he's playing it really cool to try and give me dramatic, or it's not the fight that I want. And so I'm like, I don't know how to take this. Just tell me. And he's like, you got the title fight. And it's basically, I had no words. It was a lot of like weird sounds, because anyone who knows me, I don't know. This is why I don't go in public often, because I can't be controlled. But it
you're
was
a little quirky. Okay.
Quirky, I'll take that. But yeah, it was like all the excitement. I've been like all smiles, so that's why I'm glad that I have my front teeth fixed, and it's actually not. I got my fake ones in, because. Yeah, it's like all smiles all the time. Like I've never been more motivated, more happy. Like I'm always training, but like there's an extra little oomph behind everything right now. And I can't wait. Like this is everything that I've been waiting for and working for. And it's like, it's an excitement because I have the fight, but like I've been trying to not get too excited because like now's the hard work. Like it's always hard work. I'm always, like I said, I'm always training. I always am in the gym every single day. It's Sunday. Other people are off doing who knows what because football ended. But I was just at the gym lifting weights, which is my least favorite thing of all time. But I'm no stone unturned with getting ready for this fight. And, haven't quite hit camp yet. I usually do 8 weeks out, but I mean, I say that, but it's just like it's a label on top of it because I'm always training. But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm going to keep rambling. So
No, that's
next fight.
fine. Listen, I'm always gonna let you ramble, and
Thank you.
I've always said on this podcast, especially with you, that I know I'm not supposed to play favorites, but when I saw the tweet, it was at like 12 o'clock in the morning local time, and I was
Yes.
like screaming at the top of my lungs, like I couldn't be
Oh,
happier for you.
thank you.
Like the podcast we discussed has not started yet. I know we're gonna put that on the
No.
back burner, but
Yes.
later in the summer, there might be something, I
I
think
got this. And I will
you-
wear my belt in all
I
of
love it.
them. So
I love it.
we got this.
I would say selfishly, obviously, I called for you to fight in Chicago, all that. Before we get into the fight and all this, I want to kind of talk about what the fight is and where the fight is, and then there's a little bit of a more serious question I have for you. But I mean, what the hell? You get to fight for a world title in Hawaii. Like,
I know. I'm so excited. I've never been to Hawaii. First time. I think this is the greatest time to be able to oh no, I have to go to Hawaii. This is awful. Work is sending me there. So I'm like, okay. I went to Sioux Falls. I paid my dues. I got my win there. It was like the first time that the guys from Marquez MMA and Daniel Gracie were in my corner. And they're like, seriously, we let you join the team and you take us to Sioux Falls, South Dakota? And I was like, it's not my fault. Like, I go where they tell me that we go. And so, so we went there. And so now we're going to, they get to go to Hawaii with me. So there I was like, it pays off. See, I promise. Eventually we'll go somewhere cool. And now we're going to Hawaii. And I can't think of a better place to have the best fight of my career. And so, yeah, April 21st in Honolulu. Hey, look where we're at.
I can think of one other place, but first, in my preparation and leading up to this interview, I did discover when we set on today is the day, which we didn't intentionally do this, but today's Liz Carmouche's birthday, the day of filming this podcast. Do you have a happy birthday message for the champion?
Well, of course. I actually think she's awesome. Military vet and like just all around. She was really, really good person. And so happy birthday. Enjoy your last birthday with a belt. Okay, that's really mean. We don't want to do that. But now I hope she has the best birthday, has the greatest time, and hopefully she's back in the gym training because I want the best Liz Carmouche facing me in that cage on April 21st. And like, I know a lot of people wouldn't say that. A lot of people are like, oh, I hope they're off on that day. And I'm like, I don't. I hope that she brings her absolute toughest fight on that date because I'm bringing my toughest fight. And honestly, I was actually talking to somebody about that the other day, and it's kind of a respect thing. Like, they're like, oh, would you ever fight a friend, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I've actually fought friends before, on The Ultimate Fighter and after and that kind of stuff. And the best thing that you can do when you respect somebody and when you're a friend is to bring the absolute hardest fight that you have. Don't hold back on anything. Put everything into it. And I respect her so much as a fighter that I hope she brings her best because, like I said, I'm bringing mine, and it's gonna be great. And I hope she enjoys all of the birthday festivities. Maybe don't eat cake or do, because I wish I could, but I can't. But yeah, that's all I have with that.
So on a much more serious note, you mentioned you don't know a better place to, have the best fight of your life. I would say San Jose, for obvious reasons. But with that being said, I can't imagine just how proud your father, your best friend, is of you, watching above you. But Hawaii's not that far from San Jose. It's 5.5, 6 hours on a plane ride.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not San Jose specifically. I know it's not California. I know it's not your new home of Philly. But being closer to San Jose, Does that mean anything to you at all, fighting in Hawaii, not too far from San Jose? You're not fighting for the title in Sioux Falls.
Yes, which nothing against Sioux Falls, beautiful city, but I saw everything I needed to see in one day.
Was it like a block of like one block of the whole
Basically,
town?
like I have a random story. I'll get back to your original question.
Yes.
But with Sioux Falls, so I don't like I can't be left unattended. Like I always have to, especially fight week, like I have to have people around. I can't be left to myself. Not because I'm gonna go like eat things or drink things when I'm not supposed to. It's just that I just need somebody there to like, I need a chaperone or else I just get into trouble. And so my last fight, my coaches, it was like I said, it was the first time that most of them were in my corner. They all left and my one coach was just like, oh yeah, she's sleeping. And so the rest of the coaches were like, okay. So they went off and like went to go get food. But I was wide awake in the room, just like, yeah, I don't want to sit here. I definitely don't want to sit here. And so I got an Uber and went downtown and basically walked the entire city of Sioux Falls by myself.
In
like
5 minutes.
Got back to the hotel. Yeah, I saw everything. And my coaches got back to the hotel room and they're like, where the hell are you? And I was like, I got my best saw voice and I would send them a video and I was like, let's play a game. Where in Sioux Falls is DeAnna Bennett? And they're just like, what the hell? Where are you? And then like I go to a different location and I'm like, this is what happens when you leave your fighter unattended. Where are we? We're still playing this game. And like after a couple hours, I finally went back and they're like, what the hell? And I was like, I don't know. In my defense, you left me unattended. So this is the one. So, but yeah, I saw everything on that day that I needed to see in Sioux Falls, possibly, and then some. It works. It's a thing. But yeah, no, actually being close to the West Coast is actually great because my cousin, she lives like 10 minutes from the SAP Center there in San Jose. I don't know if her husband's going to be able to come because they have 3 kids. But she's going to be able to come to my fight. And then people that I know that live in Utah now, they're going to be able to come to my fight because it's close. And so, yeah, it means the world to me. And on my way back from Hawaii, I'm going to stop in California, and go visit, the rest of my family, be there in San Jose. Oh, sorry. My phone got crazy for a second. But good. Yeah, I'm going to go back to the Bay Area because, this in December, actually, the day before the anniversary of my dad's passing, my grandma actually passed away. And so I don't know why, but apparently my family was just like, you know what? If I'm not here, I want no one to celebrate Christmas. So we're all going to just die right before Christmas. And I say that with a joke because they're my family, so I can make dead family member jokes. Right. So what I reserve. So yeah, my grandma passed on December 22nd, which is the day before my dad, which is December 23rd. And so I'm like, well, father and mother, there you go. But I wasn't able to fly out for the funeral, for the memorial service that they had out there. And so I'm going to stop in and be able to go in and visit and, pay my last respects with that. Like I watched the Zoom funeral, which is a really weird thing. It was my first Zoom funeral that I've ever been a part of. But yeah, no, when I die, I want my whole family to be there, and I'm going to make it as weird as possible. So we're going to write that out. But we're not talking about me in that aspect. So
no, we're not. We got a long way of DeAnna Bennett's life before that. No,
so. There's a lot of more awkwardness that will happen, that needs to happen. And yeah, just know that if you're ever invited to my funeral, when it does happen, it's gonna be a party. And hopefully,
I'm a little offended. You said if I'm ever. So like, am I not?
Well,
I mean, because you can't send the invite. I mean, so I don't know how many people know of our friendship here. So I think
you will be. Don't worry.
I think we gotta have you go claim the gold, start the podcast in 2023, and then just get everyone in the fight game to know who we are, as a team,
yeah.
and then we'll just watch you thrive, and you can bring all the awkwardness. And then 50 years from now, I'll take the funeral invite.
All right.
Is that fair?
Sold.
I just mapped it out. But I do think
you will get your invite. I promise you.
I do think it's honestly, it's beautiful. And, you know, this is totally unrelated, but I'm actually going back to school. I start in like 10 days. And
cool.
For me, it's like, now this is such my singular focus, but having talked to you so much, you know, there are people that are colleagues of mine that are like, hey, are you going to talk to DeAnna? Because like, I'm like, everybody can talk. And they're like, I'm not claiming like selfishly, no, only me, I get to talk to DeAnna.
No,
but they're like, no, but like you guys have such a good rapport that like I've actually never wanted to uproot for the weekend and go watch a specific fighter for a specific fight. I've never been to Hawaii. I don't know financially how I'd make it happen, but it's in the back of my mind that if I could make it happen, it's a 2-fight weekend for Bellator. It's Hawaii. There is you fighting for a world title. I just don't know, and I say this sincerely, not just because you're here. I would say it to my friends and family. I haven't connected with someone on a personal level, like not just fighter to media person, but person to person, like I have with you. You've helped me through debts in my family, and just knowing how long you've been pushing for this. I don't know if I could have picked outside of San Jose a better place, a more beautiful island for you to fight on. Like perfect moment, perfect opponent. And I say perfect opponent to take the narrative off of me and go back to you, because you fought Liz Carmouche before, and we've talked about this fight. What is in the back of your mind knowing it's not just a title fight, it's a rematch, and it's a rematch that you have talked about on this podcast multiple times. You've talked about what happened in that fight. What is in like the front of your mind when you think about this fight against Liz?
I've been waiting for this I just got a message from Daniel, actually. Sorry, the notification just popped up on top, and I was like, oh, we were just talking about him. I've been thinking about this fight since the last time that I had to get carried out of the cage for our last fight. If anyone watches it knows I couldn't even walk out of the cage on my own last time, because like it was hurting. I was doing okay. I had the hamstring avulsion. I went to the hospital, and from then on, it's been over 2 years now. Well, coming up in 2.5 years. I've thought about this fight, not just because I have a scar like this big on my ass, but that's also part of it. It's my daily reminder. I'm like, oh, hey, that one right there. That's a reminder of that fight. And it was my first fight with Bellator, so obviously I won't forget it for that. But then just knowing that what happened in that fight and what I'm capable of and how much more I'm capable of than what I even showed in that fight. And like, it's so weird. It's playing out exactly how I've envisioned it. You know, I other people are like, you manifested it. And I'm like, okay, let's not get crazy. I did not manifest things. I'm not some form of like superhero or something.
Are you not Jocko Willink?
Well,
you're not David Goggins? What is happening here?
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I'd say, I don't think I definitely can't be, because I don't say motherfucker enough. So, among other things, I would say I can't quite pull that off as much. Be like, listen, motherfuckers, and like, yeah, that's, if they ever talk like that, be like, are you okay? What's wrong with you? And I'm like,
what is wrong with DeAnna?
You know, like, must be the stroke. Finally, something funny happened. I don't know. There's something going on in there, but yeah, like I said, I've thought about this fight forever, and so I'm so incredibly happy that it's finally happening. Like on my Instagram today, I posted a video from my post-fight conference from the first time I fought Justine, which was exactly a year ago as well. And it was me they asked me of who I wanted to fight next, and they asked me about Liz and everything, and I was like, this is what I want. Like, I knew with her being the competitor that she is, that she was going to win the title, and that, you know, I was going to build my way up and get that rematch, and that it was going to be for the title, and that's when it's going to go down. And I can't wait. Like, obviously anyone looks at it on paper, I lost. And trust me, that fact does not go over my head. People are like, oh, you can't say like the what ifs, like what if your hamstring didn't blow? What if that? And I'm like, trust me, I know. On paper, I lost that fight. And just know that I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that this next time that's not the case. Taking in all of the variables. There's one guy on my team, one of my teammates, very, very smart individual. He's an excellent fighter, and he's also an excellent coach. He had an injury in his last fight that he's still rehabbing from, but he's in the gym, he's training, but he comes and helps, he teaches and then helps corner a lot of the fighters, and probably one of the smartest fighters. And by that, I mean, not just smart in general, but just smart about the sport and smart about just being an athlete, and saying like, you have to prepare for what you do well, you have to prepare for what they do well, and then you have to prepare for the variables. And popping my hamstring was one of the variables. And so, you have to be prepared no matter what happens with that. And man, I can't wait. And, anyone who actually watches the fight, or watched the fight knows, like, one of my most proud moments of all time is I had the surgery. It was coming back. I was actually in the corner for one of my teammates and one of my best friends up in New York. And I'm sitting there in the locker room, and Ray Longo was in the locker room. And I saw him, and I was like, oh, I had never met him before, but I was like, that's Ray Longo. That's cool. And I'm like nervous because I'm a weirdo, and I just like, I think he's awesome. And then he walks over and he's like, hi, I wanted to introduce myself. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I was at your last fight, and I just wanted to come over and introduce myself and just say that, like, you're a great fighter, and then, like, I just really wanted to meet you. And I was like, I don't know what to say on this. I was like, did you just come over and introduce yourself to me because you wanted to meet me? Like, I wanted to meet you, but I'm the awkward person that's like, I don't know if I should, I don't know if I can. He's like, yeah, that fight was just so good. You did so great. Like, I was amazed. And like, he had been talking to my coach before the fight and was just like, that's a tough fight for her. I don't know how she's gonna do. Like, who knows? She might get blown out of the water. And then he's like, you proved me wrong. Like, I saw you go in there, and what you did in that cage, like wow. And like, it was crazy to me. Like, this is a legend in the sport is saying these things to me. And that's not something that I forget or take lightly. It's not gonna go to my head. My head's big enough already, literally. We don't need it to get any bigger, but it's feel for me that I can prove to people kind of what I can do. Not that I have to prove to people, but like, I do this for fun. I do this because I love to do it. I don't really care if people are like, oh man, that's a shit fight. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go do what I can. So, but like, these are the different things. Like I said, I know what I'm capable of, and I am putting in the work to do more. I'm not just the fighter that walked into that cage in September of 2020. Like, I have been basically training every single day basically since then, and becoming even better. And I'm with such a good team here in Philly. Like, I have such great training partners and such great coaches that push me. And like, I love them to death. John Marquez, like, he's a saint for putting up with me. I think he literally will push me into a volcano after I win the belt. He will take the belt for himself to put at the gym, and he will push me into a volcano and be like, this is for all the headaches that you have given me since you joined that team, motherfucker. And I wouldn't blame him, because he puts up with a lot, and I love him to death. Like, I can't thank him and tell him how much I appreciate him and everything that he's done for me, and welcoming me into the team, into that room. Like, it's a whole bunch of killers in there, and that man is, like I said, a saint.
A little poetic justice, though, isn't it? Because you both have gone on and been undefeated in the promotion since that fight. And both of you arrive at this fight in April, coming off of back-to-back wins against one opponent. So it's a little poetic justice if you're looking at it in the DeAnna Bennett side of,
Yes.
Listen, you had to go do what you had to do, and she had to go do what she had to do to kind of keep her title. You had to do what you had to do to secure your title. When you look at everything we've talked about, where the fight is, your team and all that, when you look back, and I don't know if you've had this moment yet, if you will have this moment at all, or whatever, but when you look at everything you've been through, especially the last couple of years, the injuries, the personal life, everything you've been through, and then look at where your career has been, being on Tough, Invicta, all of that. Like, has it hit you that this moment is here?
Oh my gosh. It's like the ups and downs. Like, one of my best friends, poor guy, he has to deal with, number one, he has to deal with me on a daily basis. And every single time, like, when they finally announced the fights, like, I kept voice noting him. It was like super early in the morning. He's at work and I'm just like, that's the sound that I make, because it's like, it's me trying to get all of the emotions that I have out, and I don't have words for it, and I don't know what to do. And so that's just the sound that, like, says exactly how I feel about the whole thing. Just like, I'm so excited, and it's so hard to, honestly, I can't believe it's finally here. The title fight that I've been waiting for and begging for and working for is finally here. And like I said, I've never been more motivated for this. Like, I don't care how tired I am. I don't care anything. Like, I want to be in that training room. I want to be pushing it. I want to be doing what I can and training as hard as I can, because I've never wanted something more than this. And, going into the cage, no matter what happens when I get into that cage, I know I'm going to be the most prepared fighter that I've been for any fight, no matter what. And, like, before they announced it, I was like, I don't know, maybe I don't know. It just feels like it's not real. And then they announced it and I was like, okay, maybe it is actually real. And so, like, it's still mind boggling to me that it's actually happening. So, quite excited about that. And it's going to be great. And I'm really excited.
I don't want to steal words from another fighter, but I'm going to, because I think it's one of the greatest moments. And I always talk about my favorite press conference moments, my favorite trash talk moments. I think there's a favorite moment I have in this sport of all time, and that's Jamal Hill talking to Ariel Helwani before his fight against Glover. And Ariel made like a small promo about it, video with music in the background. And he said, Jamal said his biggest fear was dying without knowing if he was good enough. And he said now he'll get to answer the question, and win or lose, he'll now have that answer. Is that something now that kind of resonates with you? I'm not saying you've had that fear, but I feel like when fighters like yourself, Jamal Hill, and so many countless others before the both of you and those that will come after you, I feel like those who take the road less traveled, they have that. They have that each and every day. When on a Sunday, you're sitting in your car doing a podcast interview with a guy you barely freaking know. Or when you're lifting weights on a Sunday and you don't really want to do it because it's your least favorite thing, that question in your mind comes up, like, am I ever really, like, am I good enough? Am I a champion? Coaches, teammates, and sometimes fighters themselves tell themselves, yeah, I'm a champion, I'm a future world champ and all that. But has that moment, like, do you kind of resonate with that you finally get to answer that question?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Everything I've been through, there's been multiple times where I'm like, what am I even doing? Like, I keep on doing this. Like, is it worth keeping on going? The number of times that I've had family members and friends and just random haters telling me that, like, I should quit, or like, what are you still doing? Like, get a real job, do this. And I was like, no, I have very clear goals. I know what I want to do, and I love this sport. And I knew that I have what it takes, some days I doubt it. Like, I'll go to the gym, I'll have like a really bad round with a guy, like get the living piss beaten out of me, and like get so upset, and it just frustrates me. Well, like in those situations, and my coach is just like, you just shake it off, like you're fine. But I don't think he realizes I'm not upset because, like, oh, I got beat up. I'm upset because I know that I have what it takes to do better than that. It's not that I got beat up for that round. It's not that, like, this person did this. It's, I know what I'm capable of, and I should be showing that, and I should be doing that. So it's not, anytime I have a bad round like that, it's not because, and I when I get upset of it, trust me, there's guys out there that literally will beat the piss out of me, and that's just because they're better than me. But the ones that really upset, and those ones, it sucks, but I can handle it. It's the ones where I don't do my best, because I know that I can. And one of my favorite songs, who is it? I think it's like The Strokes or something. They sing that song like, I don't want to live as an untold story. Like, I want the pain. I want everything. Like, I don't want to say it could have been me. I don't want to get done. I don't want to quit and go on to my next thing in life, wondering, like, could I have gotten this far? Could I have done this? Could I have made it to a championship fight in one of the biggest organizations in my sport? And so, yeah, I get to answer that now. Like, number one, I'm making it there, and I'm going to do whatever I can to show people what I'm capable of, and be the best me. And I absolutely resonate with that 100%. And these are the thoughts that go through my head, because, yeah.
Probably a dumb question from me, but I'm going to ask it anyways because I think I can get away with asking you a dumb question. What are you most looking forward to in champ camp? Because every fight camp, I mean, not every fight camp is the same, but you still go through the rigors of a fight camp, no matter what, or, the situation, the opponent, anything. But for a champ camp, a title fight camp, yeah, there may be days that you're going to be doing the things that you don't necessarily love to do, or that you don't want to do at all. There are going to be days where you don't want to go to the gym. What do you think, if you can think about it right now, when you're in fight camp and you're preparing for this world title fight, do you think you're going to be looking forward to the most as part of your camp?
Having abs. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. Because I never have them anyway. So
I was going to say, then I need to start back on. I need to get into a champ camp because I put on some weight over the last 2 years. So
well,
I'm with you.
I'm a fat kid at heart, and I am really just kidding. Honestly, it's a good question. The whole experience to me, like, there's nothing more fulfilling than going to practice and being put through a tough 2-hour practice, and working on the things that we're specifically working on for this fight, or just trying to make me better in general, because I want to be a full rounded fighter. There's nothing that beats the feeling of making it through those practices and pushing it as hard as I can, and getting better every single day. And I'm excited for all of it. Like I said, I hate lifting weights, but I will go just because I know I need to do that to be the best fighter that I can possibly be. And I don't hate it as much as I like to tell everybody I hate it, but it is my least favorite aspect of the sport. But if it came down to it, like, even when I'm done fighting, I'm still lifting weights. I'm still doing that and doing everything I can. But I'm just excited for every single moment on there. Like, I wake up every day like just excited to go to the gym and to go to practice, and like I'm just focused, and I'm ready for the hard work. Like, I know the next 8.5 weeks are going to be very tough. They're going to be mentally, physically, emotionally exhausting, and I'm here for every second of it. Like, I've been counting down because they're like, oh yeah, you don't want to do too long of a camp, and I'm like, I know, I want it to be 8 weeks already, because that's how I planned out my camp, is 8 weeks out. And I want to be able to step it up, and I want to start camp. I want to be in camp. My favorite times are when I'm training hard and I'm in camp and I have a goal and I'm working towards it, and we're almost there, and I'm super excited. Like I said, every day I wake up like, this is what I'm doing today, and I can't wait. Am I going to get choked? Am I going to get punched? Of course I am. Like, maybe if they punch me here and straighten on my nose, I'd be a lot happier, but they want to keep hitting me on this side. And so it's like, I'm just going to drop my hand over here, and maybe they'll align it for me. We'll see. I'll buy a new nose eventually. But I just, every single moment of it, like, I'm excited.
This is quite the change of conversation from the last time we talked, and you were basically begging for any fight. So I couldn't be happier for you. I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I do have a few more questions for you. Going back to Liz Carmouche, I mean, she's not the same fighter, and neither are you. What do you think you will thrive in the most in this rematch? Rematches are something you're not new to. So at Bellator 294, what do you feel you bring into this fight, and how do you feel you've grown since the last time you guys fought?
A lot has happened in the last couple of years. Definitely. The number one thing I'd say is that physically, as a fighter, the first time we fought, it was during COVID, when COVID was like at its worst, basically. And physically, I was not the fighter that I am right now. I was walking around a little bit heavier. You can blame COVID. Oh no, stop that. Where'd you go? Come back.
I'm right here.
It was my phone. It's gonna die, so I'm just gonna do this fun thing where I start my car really fast. Oh, hey car. Hold.
Yeah, not a problem.
I'm gonna plug it in, and then
I just really appreciate you spending so much time with me.
I got you. Oh, new angle. So number one thing, just physically the fighter that I am, that's changed. That's a big part of it. And then also just skill wise, I've been training and doing everything I can to be a better fighter every single day, like going to.
Oh, I think I just lost you in mute. Can you hear me?
Again.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I just lost you for like 10 seconds.
I think it was because of my
going
phone.
Through your car.
Yeah, it's going through my car now. I don't know if that changes the audio for you at all, but
it changes it, but just keep going. It's perfect. It doesn't bother me at all.
Well, okay then. Sorry. I like I was saying, I've seen too many times with fighters that have been around for a long time. They think that they don't need to go and do the basics at the gym. They don't think that they need to do drilling. They don't think that they just need live goes. They just need bodies. They don't need to do the simple things anymore because they've been there. And it's not true. You have to humble yourself, and you have to get in the gym, and you have to do the work, and you have to push the extra rounds and do everything that you can. And I take that mentality. I take it. I almost feel like it's always my first fight every single time, like doing the little things for that. And so and in the last 2.5 years, like that's what I worked on, is being better every single day, taking every opportunity opportunity I possibly can. You know, I've said it before in interviews, and I've said it before and other all the time. You know, every single day you have to push yourself and do something that scares you and do something that you don't want to do, or else you're just gonna stay stagnant. You're not gonna be able to achieve your goals. Basically, like I I'm just I am a different fighter. I'm working to improve every single day. I'm with a different camp now. Last time I fought her, I was training at a different gym. I'm now over at Marquez MMA, and it's a room full of killers. Absolutely. You know, you mentioned Sean Brady earlier. Like, that guy's a monster. Like, and I mean that in the nicest way possible, because he's awesome. The entire team, like, they're all so great. And I'm like, it sounds like I'm biased because they're my teammates there, but that's not the case. It's just that I respect them so much as the fighters, and for them to be able to welcome me into the team, to be a part of it, and to help push me every single day, like, I'm grateful for that every single day. Like, don't get me wrong, every single day, being able to be in that room full of those people, like, I love it. Like, even I feel bad when I'm in a bad mood and I'm quiet and I don't talk to anybody, and they're like, "What's wrong with her?" And it's like, maybe just don't talk to her. But it's the gratefulness never goes away. You know, I every single day, like, am so happy to be able to go there, and I feel like, to respect them for bringing me into the team, you know, I owe it to them, and I owe it to myself to push myself to be the best, and to go out there and show that, you know, I took things from their training. You know, I am the fighter that I am because of how they push me every single day.
I love it. I love it. I'm getting more and more excited for this, and we're weeks away. And one thing I will say is I'm super appreciative of you not only doing this so lengthy, but so quickly after the fight, you know, has been announced, because I really don't want to bother you during camp. I say this the nicest way possible. I hope we don't talk until Bellator does media week that week, at least in podcast form.
That'll be fun.
Like, I would definitely love, you know, to talk to you in between that, but
Okay.
I definitely on a podcast form don't want to talk to you until it's media week, it's fight week. You know, I was like, before camp starts, I'm talking to DeAnna, and I'll talk to her as camp is ending, and that is it. You know, and that's just knowing how much this means to you, and just all the times that we have talked. So I'll ask you this: on April 21st, we'll call it midnight, in Hawaii, you walk out of the arena with that belt. What does that mean to you?
Everything. It's everything that I've always worked for and pushed for in this sport. Like I said, there's been times where I'm like, I've doubted myself, not to the point where I was like, maybe I should quit, but like, the thoughts have crept through my head. Like I said, I've had family members, like close family members, tell me that I need to give it up and stop. I've had, obviously, the haters, because that's what they do, they hate, tell me that I should stop. One person said that I should shit myself again in the cage, and I was like, you got the wrong person on that one. So that's maybe the opponent I fought last time, but it is what it is.
But also, just like people wouldn't ever act like they couldn't ever shit themselves if they were getting choked out or beat up. Like, whatever, right?
Absolutely. Shit happens.
Literally.
Shit happens.
I mean, I'm not advocating for people to shit themselves, but I'm just saying, like, people don't understand what it's like to get choked out, especially on a high stakes stage and all this. I don't know. Fighting trolls are the worst. I'll listen to people tell me why Tom Brady couldn't make a pass or why the Eagles lost the Super Bowl. Sorry, I had to get that in there. But like, I will listen to regular sports talk trolls all day long because it's laughable. But I cannot listen to fight trolls, because half the shit they say, no pun intended, they would not say to any fighter. And those are the same people that get knocked out outside of bars and clubs and everywhere else.
Absolutely. 100%. every single time. And so, yeah, I just, most of the time I'm just like, okay, that's cool. I'll just start agreeing with them. I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe that's gaslighting. I'm sorry you feel that way. Apparently that's gaslighting, so maybe I'm just gaslighting my haters, but I'm going to continue doing that because I don't even care. But
how many times have you watched a fight, whether it be live or whatever, around like random casuals, and they're trying to tell you what, like how many times?
Oh, it hurts me. It hurts me so badly.
No, you know what, dude?
Like,
you know what they should do right now?
oh man, like going to fights live and sitting in the crowd, just surrounded by people and hearing what they say. I'm like, I can't. I need to turn my brain off. It's so bad. It's so bad. So
But then there's the
bad.
opposite side of like people like myself, and I don't want to call out the term, but I was out. This was maybe 4 or 5 years ago when Eddie Alvarez fought Justin Gaethje, I believe. And I'm a big Mark Henry fan, and I love the way he coaches. And I called out something he called out, and Eddie threw the same exact, like he threw the move. And people were like, how the hell did you know? And I'm like, I watch a lot of fights. And I'm like, I'm not trying to look like the super genius, but everybody in the bar was like, what? And I'm like, that's when you can be loud. When you know what you're like, you know what I mean? But when you're like on the ground and people are like, get up, this sucks.
Oh
like,
my
okay. He's transitioning to an armbar here. What are you talking about? Get up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're actually working on something. So it's all good. It's all good, guys.
Right. Exactly. We're not in the gladiator days.
Oh, exactly. Like, come on now. Oh, yeah.
But
so for all that, like I said, walking out of the cage with that belt is everything that I've always wanted. Like from Goggins in his first book, he talks about like the I can't remember the term for it, but on your mirror, like putting notes on for your goals. And so I have two. There's always been little ones goals that I have, but I have two main ones that are sitting on my main mirror that I look at every single day. One is to get my jiu-jitsu black belt, which is long overdue. I know, blah, 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 blah. We don't need to get into that. It'll happen eventually. We're almost there. And then the other one is win the Bellator flyweight belt. And so those are my two main goals. Yeah, I put them on my Instagram before. Yeah, you see them. So that's my mirror that I look at every day before I leave the gym or leave my house, just because, so I can try and make myself look human. Those are my two ones that are sitting on there, and those are the big things that I want to accomplish and that I will accomplish and that every day I'm working to accomplish. And so it's like I said, I don't have words for it. You know, it's for me, it's for my dad, it's for all the coaches I've had over the years, all the teammates that I've had over the years, every single fan that supports me and believes in me. And yeah, I just it's everything. It literally is everything that I've worked for. And like, I'm not saying I'm gonna win the belt and that's the end. Like I have other goals, but it's proof of what I've been working for. And so, like I said, I'm going to give myself every opportunity to walk out of that arena with it. And I was talking to somebody, I'm like, I'm not leaving Hawaii without it. It's happening. So, and then my teammate, who's also up for a belt in one of the other promotions, he's going to win his belt. I'm going to win my belt. And then we're going to fight for the belts on the top of a volcano in Hawaii for the ultimate belts, because there can be only one.
I love it. I hate to keep comparing kind of your journey and story to others, but you mentioned this, and I wasn't planning to ask you this until you mentioned, the jiu-jitsu black belt thing. When Tyron Woodley defended his belt against Darren Till, there's a beautiful video of his coach Dean Thomas going, celebrating with Duke Rufus and he goes, watch this. And he brings out a black belt, and literally, Tyron retains, his title. And then Dean walks in with the black belt, and Tyron falls to his knees and is in tears. And he said it wasn't about retaining the title. This is something I worked for so much. So I'm just going to throw this extra caveat out there. If you get the job done over Liz Carmouche and that similar situation happens to you, two birds, one stone, perfect night?
Absolutely. That would be the perfect night. The only thing missing is somebody who looks like a young Harrison Ford feeding me grapes. Nothing
But
weird there.
we'll try and track that down in Hawaii for you.
All
But
right. At least some kind of hairy male. That's fine. That's where we're at. So
on a fun note, first thing you drink after you win the title, besides water. If it's water.
It's tequila. It's always tequila. My last fight, I snuck like margaritas.
I remember the story. Yep.
Yeah, I snuck them into the venue, one for me and one for each of my coaches. And I drank that thing, and I was drunk before I even got out of my fight outfit because I've been training for months for that fight. And then I had no food and just margarita in a can. So somebody's going to have a large glass of tequila waiting for me, one for each hand. And it's going to be a party. I might get lost in Hawaii. I might not come back because they don't know where DeAnna went, because we're going hard and it's going to be great.
I honestly cannot wait. DeAnna, the more I talk to you today, the more I'm trying to map a plan in place to go for this doubleheader weekend. I really don't care.
It's going to be great.
It's a doubleheader weekend. I've got you fighting, and as I said, and I don't want to be biased, but I do consider you a friend. I've got other fighters I'm close with fighting on the next day, so I may be able to try to work some magic here. I think I should as well. I really think I should. And honestly, it's not just because you've been so great to me. It's since we started talking and doing this podcast, but there's something so special to me about being able to have someone's spotlight moment and be there in the crowd. I can't tell you how many times I've told people about this upcoming weekend with Bellator 291 and the Dublin, Ireland shows. They are my favorite shows of the year outside when, people I like fight. Like 18 fights at Bellator 291. I think it starts at like 8 a.m. local time. Good luck trying to get in contact with me because I'm not on duty for that event. I am going to be drinking Guinness all freaking day. I don't care.
As you should be. You should be.
There's just something so special about that crowd, that atmosphere, and every single fighter. Yeah. It is their Super Bowl. Every single Irish fighter, it is their Super Bowl to be in that arena. It doesn't matter if they're the first fight on the card or the main event. I just love it. And so for me to be in the building for a moment as special as yours is in April in Hawaii on April 21st, I don't know how I could miss it. I really don't know. I don't know.
Well, thank you.
So
I appreciate that, because then we're going to get drunk afterwards. And then my normal post-fight thing, drunk DeAnna, I don't know what she's thinking, because I always I'll have a fight and then I'll go get drunk. And then I end up buying like multiple pairs of like stripper heels. I don't really go places to wear them because I look like this most of the time. But that's like my process. Every single time after a fight, like boxes show up in the mail, and I was like, damn it, did I do it again? And then it's like, I did, in fact, actually.
Don't tell me you have a pair.
I just moved, and so I still have things in my car. I won't bring out the other ones, but yeah. These were a product after my last, not the fight, the one a year ago. I bought these.
I love that. I love that.
Do you? Where in the world am I wearing these to?
I don't know. I really don't know. Your funeral?
Oh, trust me. I got ones. I have a pair of thigh-high snakeskin blue boots that are back here as well. I'm pretty sure those are going to be worn at my funeral. So, yeah,
just
these beauties right here. I'm going to keep.
If I can make it happen, and I can get to Hawaii, I will try to be the media professional and cover the fights. And then after your fight, I will celebrate with you on one condition.
Perfect. Yeah.
You do not. No, you do not try to get me either into a pair of stripper heels, and you do not order me a pair of stripper heels.
I can't agree to that.
Okay. I thought you were going to say you can't do that to me because, listen, like I said at the beginning of this, my hope is you go and do what you're supposed to do in April and you get the belt, and then we start this podcast in the summer of this year, and then moving forward. So, like, I don't want to be like your podcast co-host who was once in stripper heels. Like, Oscar De La Hoya once wore fishnets, and he's never lived that down. And
I promise to not put it on Instagram, but I'm an enabler when it comes to my friends, unfortunately. And when I keep pictures of it, for my own personal records at some point, probably. But besides that, I'm going to keep petting these heels and for the rest of the interview, just so you know, just because they're pretty.
They are very pretty. They are very
One day
pretty.
I'll find somewhere that I would actually wear that, but who knows where. I moved and it was like a whole bunch of pairs of wrestling shoes and then stripper heels. And I'm like, nothing describes me more.
Wrestling
I got
shoes?
one of each. I got wrestling shoes and I got stripper heels. And so I was like,
maybe just gym shoes? Maybe just gym shoes?
oh, no. I have a pair of gym shoes as well. And
so
yeah,
you got to make me one promise, though, for fight week.
Yeah.
And I don't, obviously, because you said you've got to be monitored on fight week. We don't need Dog the Bounty Hunter looking for DeAnna Bennett in Hawaii on fight week. So we just, do we got to lock you up on that week?
A lot of my teammates are coming. And so, because my coaches learned their lesson. So a lot of my teammates are actually coming to Hawaii for the fight. So I do not think that I'm going to be left alone. So I think we're safe on that for this time, only this time.
Yeah, I would say given the stakes, given everything, I think it's a smart move. DeAnna Bennett, I'm gonna get kind of unprofessional here and say I can't be happier for you. I remember when we first spoke the first time, you were like, you better talk to me after my fight. And I was like, I've heard fighters say that before. It's probably not true. She's not going to answer. She's not going to remember who I am. And then immediately you changed that. You were on the show, right after your fight. Then we talked before and after your last fight. And like, I truly get invested into the person the fighter is and not just, hey, you won, you lost. I've had fighters that I've had to reach out to after a loss. Not because I wanted to for the podcast, but because I felt it was necessary, given the fact that I don't hide. I try to build friendships and relationships through this podcast. So I personally have very few that I could consider real friends. You are one of them. And I don't know we're only 2 months in. I don't know if I could have a happier moment than having this fight announced for you. I know what would make all of us happy in the DeAnna Bennett world is you bringing that belt back. Just congratulations. I know how long the journey has been. I know how frustrating, the past 6 months have been for you. I can't wait. I know what a rematch means to a fighter. I know what a title fight means to a fighter. But more importantly, I know what those two things mean to you. And you mean a lot to me, giving me your time all the time. So congratulations. You will at least hear from me before the fight if I'm able to make it. But podcast terms, I don't plan to contact you because I just want to be able to watch from afar and respect your space and time. So thank you for giving me so much of your time today. DeAnna Bennett, I wish you all the best. And I really hope I get to see you in Hawaii in person.
Yes, I hope to see you too. And thank you for talking to me today and putting up with me just leaving my stripper heels up. So
I guarantee you, if it's not in the comments, which I think I shamelessly am going to ask, I might need a plug because I got to get the YouTube subscribers up here. So definitely might need a plug from DeAnna Bennett once this is posted.
I got you.
But whether it be in the comments or through family or friends who watch this, people are gonna be like, "You would look good in those heels, bro." I guarantee you, one person will say it to me. One person.
I hope so. I very much hope so. I think you could pull it off. You see those?
I don't know.
I think they're 7 inches.
I would finally be 6 foot. I'd finally.
That's me just trying to help you out. That's all I ask.
I'm tall enough to ride the rides at amusement parks and Six Flags, so I'm good. So that's all that matters. Okay, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
April 21st in Hawaii, Bellator MMA, Bellator 294. DeAnna Bennett, Liz Carmouche 2 for the flyweight title. DeAnna Bennett, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to win the belt. Wear the shoes.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care.